This week in Grace's Girls Club, we're heading over to one of my favorite cities in North Alabama, Athens. And I want you to meet someone with a pretty incredible job. I want you to meet Erin. Erin, welcome to Grace's Girls Club. Please introduce yourself, tell us your role, and exactly what it is that you do.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for having me. My name is Erin Tidwell, and I'm the city planner here with the City of Athens. And just we have, I guess, we have a planning department of 4 individuals. We have 2 planners, myself included, on staff, and we help facilitate development for residential and non-residential development for projects within the city. And that includes, commercial, your TJ Maxx's. And it also includes subdivisions. So we have a whole lot of different things that come through our office on the daily basis.
Absolutely. And Athens is growing so much. I'm sure you've got your hands full right now. Walk me through kind of what your day to day might look like.
So on a daily basis, our office, I guess every month we facilitate 3 different meetings. We have our Planning Commission meeting, we have our Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting, and we have our Historic Preservation Commission meeting. So our daily tasks include things that get those applications ready for those boards and commissions to review. And then on top of that, we're looking at site development plans. Um, our office helps facilitate site plan review for all the departments in the city. And so the first stop for folks that are wanting to develop a redevelopment in Athens or develop or redevelop in Athens is our office. So we take those folks, we walk them through that process, and we get their applications sent out to each department in the city.
Very
And
cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, it's fine. And so we're just working with folks to help get their applications submitted and get all the details ironed out and get them ready to move forward.
So it sounds like your job has probably a lot of different things that come into play. Probably a lot of STEM. It sounds like maybe a good bit of paperwork, a lot of face to face communication, focusing more so on the STEM of those letters: science, technology, engineering, and math. Which would you say that you use most on a routine basis?
That's a really interesting question because our urban planning in general, we incorporate a lot of various STEM fields like civil engineering. We use GIS or mapping quite a bit, environmental science, data analysis, all those types of things just on a regular basis to ensure informed planning decisions are being made.
Mhm.
Um, and so, in planning, just in general, or in our office, we're taking all those different pillars and perspectives, excuse me, taking all those perspectives and we're looking at them kind of comprehensively to ensure informed decisions are being made off of all that information that's available. So, with that said, we're looking at GIS or mapping, like I said, on just all of our basic planning decisions. That's kind of where we start, and all of our processes that we walk through on a regular basis. And we're also utilizing various methodologies of data analysis when we're looking at maybe like population projections or land use analysis. All those can come into play just depending on what day of the week it is and what problem we're trying to solve. So even when we're looking something simple that's like a sign review, we have different mathematical formulas that are kind of baked into that everyday task. And so I don't know that we fit squarely into any one single STEM category, but we either utilize components or we work closely with different professions, like in civil engineering, who fit into those categories because kind of broadly across the board.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons that this was one of the interviews I was so excited for. So often you get, well, I want to be an engineer or I want to be a doctor. And those are obviously very specific STEM fields, but yours really does encapsulate so many different elements of STEM. And I think that's really cool and probably very attractive to young girls who are looking to see what they want to be one day.
No, absolutely. And a lot of it is we're working with folks. We're not civil engineers, and we don't want to be. We don't try to be. But we're working with civil engineers to figure out the solutions to problems, whether that's drainage or whether that's utility conflicts, or how do we make this site fit the requirements for the city of Athens so we can bring whatever product wants to fit here into Athens and make it fit our requirements, and still make sure the drainage is correct, and still make sure you have the parking spaces that it requires. And we have to problem solve, and we do that on a daily basis, and we kind of help facilitate those conversations. And um, and so we, like I said, we may not fit squarely into any of those categories, but we do help bring those folks to the table and help find the solutions.
Absolutely. And you have such an interesting job as well because so Athens, for example, a place that's of course booming, but you don't want it to lose that charm. You want it to keep that small town feel. And I imagine that is a great undertaking to say, okay, exactly how much progress is good, and then where's the line that says it's too much, and how do we still keep our little family and community orientation? So that's a pretty big undertaking for you, Erin.
No, it absolutely is. And the great thing about that is we have, I guess back in 2022, we adopted our 2040 comprehensive plan. And that plan is based on community input. So the community's told us what they want to see in Athens. And so that's kind of how we use these tools, our zoning. We use, different departments have their own regulations. And we use those tools that we have to ensure that that our outputs are in line with that plan and that vision that the public has identified.
Absolutely. That sounds great to me. I think that's the best way to do it. So let's say I'm a young girl and I'm watching this and I think, wow, that's amazing. I would want to do this too. Walk me through the type of schooling and degree that you have, and then give me any tips you might have for a young girl looking to follow in your footsteps.
Absolutely. So let's see. I went to school at the University of Alabama. I got my bachelor's degree in geography, actually. Which you kind of think, how do you get to urban planning from geography? I had a really great guidance counselor, or I guess counselor, wasn't a guidance counselor. That's in high school. Had a really great counselor, and she kind of talked me through some things, and I kind of naturally fell into. We at the time we had an urban, regional, and environmental planning concentration in our Department of Geography at Alabama, and from there I had an internship at the city of Huntsville and an internship with the city of Tuscaloosa. And I highly recommend anyone, like whatever career field you go into, do an internship, do a job shadow. There's nothing like real life experience. But that kind of solidified that this was the career field for me. So I did 4 years in undergrad. And then I did 3 years in a master's program. And we are very fortunate in the state of Alabama. We have two programs that are certified and accredited for urban planning. You have the University of Auburn. They have an accredited master's program. Then you have Alabama A&M University here in North Alabama. That's where I got my master's program. They have an accredited master's program. They also have an accredited undergrad program. And it's a fantastic program. I encourage folks to check it out. We have a lot of alumni that are local as well. So I did 4 years undergrad, 3 years of master's program. And and once you go through that, there's a lot of support system in the state, and it just opens up doors to you to figure out where you want to land.
Absolutely. That is such great advice. I was wondering if you needed your master's, so I was really glad you touched on that. So you kind of
Mhm.
mentioned that urban planning was a little bit of a jump from geography. What made you make that jump? Why did you end up choosing this field?
So it's not too big of a jump, but when I was in undergrad, we did have a concentration where it allowed me to go into urban regional environmental planning, even though my basis was in geography. And like I said earlier, we use geography or GIS mapping. It's kind of the basis of all of our decisions that we make in planning. And so it was kind of this transition from this was my concentration in geography to where I'm actually going to go and I'm going to get my master's in planning. And so at that point in time, when I decided to get my master's, I had some experience. I'd been working in the planning field for a while. And so going back and getting my master's just opened the doors up to me uh, for some different positions. Um, and it paid off. And I know a lot of folks that have gone back to get their masters, and I encourage folks, once you know that that's really what you want to do, that it's a good decision to make. And like I said, in the state of Alabama, we're just very fortunate that we have two programs that allow us to do so.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. So walk me through what is maybe one of the best parts of your job.
Oh man. So I think just here at Athens, the spirit of teamwork that we have just between our departments, it makes the workload that we carry so much easier. Um, and just, you know, we have so much going on. The ability to work between our departments to facilitate a lot of the projects that we have. I mean, I'm just very thankful for that. And
Mhm.
working with folks and working interdepartmentally on some of these projects and to see them pay off and to see the public be able to utilize some of them, like TJ Maxx, for example. I mean, there's just nothing like it. And I think that's probably having great coworkers and having, folks to lean on. That's one of the things I'm just most thankful for.
Absolutely. And like-minded folks, right? So if that's
Yes.
one of the best parts of your job, what is maybe one of the biggest challenges that you have to face and using your own words, problem solve to work through every day?
I think that's probably it. We come in and with this profession, and, whether you're, you know, we have a lot of planning offices across North Alabama, but probably depending, any office that you're in, one of the biggest challenges is problem solving. You don't know when you walk in the door each day what problem you're going to face. And so having to be able to problem solve and think on your feet and, um, come about with solutions that work and identifying what those solutions are and, given folks options, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. And, having to know what your ordinances are, what your all the information that's in front of you and understanding how it all works together, and then be able to take that information and look at the whatever issue is in front of you, whether it's a sign or whether it's alcohol or whether it's a site plan, and understanding how that information fits that particular question
Mhm.
and coming to some type of whether it's a solution or whether that's um, some type of we want to fix whatever or we want to solve for that problem. And I think
Absolutely.
that's probably the most challenging.
Yeah, I could easily see that. I could definitely see that. And like you said too, the options, right? You probably have in your head, this is what I hope we go with, but I'm sure every person you talk to wants at least two or three options from you.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, we always want to give we want to figure out what works best, not just for us, but also for, at the end of the day, the public and just the city in general because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're making good choices for the city. And I think that's what any department across North Alabama is looking to do. We want to make good choices for Athens. And so that's what, and whether it's our department or whether it's, our utility department or whether it's, public works, we're all trying to make good choices for the city. And,
Absolutely.
um, and,
And it's
you know,
no wonder then why Athens is so wonderful.
I appreciate that. It's not always easy, but I think it's definitely something that's worthwhile in the end.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That was a great message. So, one last question, and then I'll let you get back to your day. I know that you are so busy, but if you had a message to young girls, young students in general, who are interested in joining the STEM workforce, what would your message to them be?
I think the first thing is you can be anything you want to be when you grow up, but it's so long as you're willing to work for it and be dedicated, because nothing good comes easy. And then I think the second thing is regardless of where you're at, whether you're in high school or whether you're in college or the first thing you have to do is you have to show up, whether that's to a class that you're kind of intimidated by or scared about, or whether that's an internship or maybe it's your first job. Show up and be ready to achieve, right? And then I think the last thing is don't let self doubt hold you back, right? Show up and believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and just be willing to listen and learn. And that'll take you really far in life.
Oh, Erin, I love that. Could I get each one of those on a post it note? I feel like I need to remind myself of those every day.
Absolutely. I still, it's one of those things we just have to carry with us. And, I think all of us just in those moments of self doubt, we have to remind ourselves, um, we're here for a reason. And even if all of this went away today, we still want to be good. We still want to do good in whatever role we're at in life. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Thank you so much. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and sharing your expertise with us. I know they're going to love this one. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.